Hi all, welcome back to the final whistle then for another match preview of the channel. And yeah, Leicester take on Manchester City this Sunday. A Manchester City side who have won one of their last 13 games. A Leicester side going into this game with 3 defeats on the bounce. And yeah, this one is a game where the Foxes are in the relegation zone as it stands going into this one. Manchester City are in search of that crucial win, and yeah, Leicester are one of them sides, the gift that keeps on giving when bloody teams visit the King Power, and they're not in great form. We've seen it with Wolves, Everton as well this season, and yeah, hopefully it don't bloody come the trend carrying on against a City on Sunday. But I'm going to be joined shortly by my good mate, Big Steve from Manchester City. If you're a Man City fan, then you'll know who Big Steve is. And yeah, we'll get him in shortly. Evening, Terry. How are you, my friend? Hope you're good. Leicester till I die. How are you? Nice hat. Yeah, great for Christmas. What a joke, VAR last night. I mean, yeah, VAR was not my favourite subject, if I'm honest. I'm very touchy on it. I bloody hate it. It takes too long for me. City need armour ASAP. I mean, I'll ask Steve about that, about Man City's transfer business and that. Guys, as always, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you haven't subscribed already, please go and check out the matchday vlog from Anfield. As the Foxes lost 3-1 last night in the game on Merseyside on Boxing Day. So yeah, go and check that out as well. Arthur, how are you? Leeds top, cheer up. I mean, no, I'm all right, thanks, mate. Leeds don't cheer me up. I hope bloody Leicester do on Sunday, though. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But let's get my mate in, Big Steve from Manchester City. Big Steve, my mate, how are you?
I'd like to say I'm very, very well, but watching this run we're in at the minute, I'm not that good, to be honest.
Steve, if nobody knows who you are, mate, let everybody know who you are and what you do regarding Manchester City.
Yeah, I'm just a City fan. I've had a season ticket since 1989 at City, so I've seen a lot. Got my own channel at Big Steve MCFC, TikTok, YouTube. Do a bit of work for the club every now and then if they ask me to. The overlap, Sky Sports. So I get about a bit trying to preach the gospel of Manchester City. But this time last year, I was in Saudi Arabia, just come back from Saudi. We'd just won the World Club Cup. And roll on 12 months. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting 40 points. So yeah, it's good being a City fan at the minute.
How things can change within a year. I don't think even Manchester City fans expected this type of run, Steve. 1 win out of 13 games, and it just doesn't look like Guardiola knows how to change it, because he's never been in this type of sort of environment, as is Steve as a manager.
I think we've got to give him time. I mean, I feel like I don't think the plan was for him to stay this season. I feel like that it was going to be, you know, maybe his last season, and they're going to freshen it up in the summer. And I think Pep got a little bit too cocky with his squad and thought maybe we can ride another season out. Because last year, let's be right, Arsenal should have won that league, really, but they defaulted near the end. And then he got Rodri news injured for the season, Oscar Bob out for the season. And then I feel like we were left thinking we haven't got the squad. And I mean, no, that sounds daft with City, but, you know, you look at the players, you look at our bench, we've got 5 academy lads on there. 3 of them have never played a game, and it's unheard of for us. But he's got this January window. I mean, they've put themselves in the position now where they're probably going to have to overpay for players. But that's down to the club. This one thing this club has been really good at is freshening up the squad. You know, we've lost Aguero, Company, Yaya Toure, David Silva, all these great players, and we've always replaced them. But I feel like the board and Pep have let this one go a little bit too deep. And I think a few of the lads, listen, don't get me wrong, after winning 4 Premier Leagues on the bounce, I'll take a season. If we've got to have a rebuild, no problem. I'll take 2 seasons after that. But I think it caught us all by surprise. And it's not just like a slow drop off where we're just losing the odd game and we're like, it's literally like we fell off a cliff. And I mean, I don't know if you've watched many of the games. It looks like if we concede a goal, then the team's head go down. It just looks like they think, well, we're going to get beat. It's crazy.
I mean, you look at the Everton game yesterday. I mean, City go 1-0 up through Bernardo Silva. I mean, then you go and concede that goal. Everton score, and then Everton's bloody 4-on-2 in about the 95th minute. And you're thinking, surely not. Surely this can't happen again. And Manchester City seem to be one of them sides who are very lacking confidence at the minute. They're not the side they was last season where everyone would sort of be scared of Man City. You know, you play Man City and you think, yeah, we ain't getting nothing here. We'll probably end up where good hiding. But then you look at them this season, completely different side, and everyone fancies the chances.
No, yeah, you're right. We've got a little bit of a soft underbelly where teams can get at us. Everton, like you say, 4-on-2 last minute. The worst result was the United game. I mean, they're a poor side. We should be blowing them away. And then we're winning 1-0. Luckily, we were poor. And then to get beat, I can handle a penalty, a daft moment, no problem. 1-1, yeah, I'll take that. But to get beat off them, I mean, I was like, fucking hell, this is just disgusting. And I was embarrassed. But the thing is, what you've got with our club at the minute is you've got a lot of people who are like, you can't criticise the team because you've won 4 Premier Leagues on the row. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think the real City fans are criticising the team, but you've got to be entitled to your opinion if you're not playing well. You've got to be able to talk about it. You've got to be able to go on your channel and have your own opinion. Otherwise, there's no point. But, there's a lot of entitled fans that have jumped on the bandwagon with this Man City team. There's a lot of people that just demand winning. I mean, I'm too long in the tooth. I've seen it all. You know what I mean? I've been in every division we can be in. So I'm like, look, it's Pep Guardiola. Just relax. He's going to have a transfer window now. He'll plug a few gaps. And then in the summer, it's going to be a massive rebuild, overhaul. And listen, Manchester City's crisis now. I say to other teams, pile in now. Kick us while we're down now because this is the time. We've killed everyone for 10 years. So everyone hates us. I understand it. But don't think we're going to be having one of these 10-year crises that Man United are on. We might have a 10-month crisis because the foundation and the shake and that, just won't let it happen. So we'll be back. We'll be back.
How big of a miss has Rodri been? The Ballon d'Or winner, the man who's been very pivotal to Manchester City's midfield, the sort of the orchestra man who gets Man City going in that midfield. How big of a sort of hole has that been to fill since he's been out?
Well, put it this way. You look at Pep's teams over the years at Barcelona, yeah? If you take Lionel Messi out of Barcelona's team back in the day, what's going to happen to that Barcelona team? Yeah. The drop-off massive because it's Messi. Same with Rodri. This isn't just a centre-back you're missing or a midfielder you're missing. It's Rodri. He won the Ballon d'Or. And the way you've got to look at Manchester City on the pitch is they're all cogs, and every cog has to turn the right way, and the system works perfect, and they win trophies. You take the main cog out in the middle, the one that receives the ball from the defence, the one that breaks up the attacks, the one that's dictating the play, the one that's got the energy and all that. And it's sad to say, but we're a totally different side. But we knew that anyway. But we've literally flogged him for 3 years, 70 games a season, 65, 63, whatever games a season, then a Euros, then a World Club Cup, then a pre-season. So it's disappointing. And there's literally nobody out there at the minute who you can think, right, we're going to get him just to cover Rodri, because I don't think anyone can do it.
People talk about this thing that's hovering over Man City, the 115 charges situation. Do you think that's kind of affected the club this season on and off the pitch?
I don't think so, because we've had these hanging over us for 2-3 years. So it's like, why didn't it affect us last year when we won the 4 in a row? Why didn't it affect us the treble season? You know what I mean? I think that's just a load of nonsense. And I think, you're going to get people trying to find a why there's a drop off. Oh, it must be this. Someone must know this. Someone must know that. Listen, the way I look at it is this: them football players, it's not to do with them. They wasn't around when them charges were brought up. It's this whole different batch of players from back in the day. So and if none of them have got any clauses in contracts, it doesn't matter to them. You know what I mean? But you are right. It is a cloud at the minute, and we just want it out of the way because it's just, a lot of rival fans can't see past it. Even if it comes out and says, "Oh, well, you're guilty of not handing your accounts in on a certain date," which we know we haven't done that. It'll be, "Oh, well, that your Premier League's tainted," but we know it's bullshit. That, you know what I mean? It's like, we all want an end to it. I want to see see what's been going on, but I don't think that's got anything to do with it. I just feel like the chairman and the board took their eye off the ball, and Pep maybe got a little bit complacent and thought they were, we could go and smash it again. And realistically, the legs on the team: Kovacic, Gundogan, Rico Lewis, Kyle Walker, John Stones always injured. We've got no replacement for Erling Haaland. We've got the best striker in the world, and nobody gives him the ball. Now, you could put R9 up front for us, but no one will give him the ball. He ain't going to score. You know what I mean? So it's mad.
Do you think that's been Haaland's problem then? Obviously, I think he's got is it 3 goals this season in the Prem?
Who's that?
Haaland.
He's only behind Mo Salah in top scorer, but he's not scored. I think he's only scored something like 3 and 12 or something. But
yeah, that's it. 3 and 12. How has things affected him on the pitch? Obviously, it looks like he's a confidence player, isn't he? If he gets scoring, he's unplayable. I mean, in his first Man City season, he was banging in goals left, right, and centre. And then you look at the game yesterday, the save by Pickford, and then he's kind of a passionate player, isn't he, Haaland? You could see at the end of the game yesterday how annoyed he was with how his current form's gone this season.
I'd be annoyed though. I mean, you're the best striker in the world. You want service. You've gone from having like Riyad Mahrez, fucking Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden on fire. You've come from the Alvarez behind you. You've come from this to literally nothing. Phil Foden's fell off a cliff. Kevin De Bruyne's injured, very rare, gets minutes. Doku and Savinho are so frustrating. They'll get down the line, they won't cross the ball. Jack Grealish just fell off a cliff. So you've got Earl, who's literally just crying out for service. For me, Pep, I would have changed my system to suit Haaland. I said to the wingers, look, I know we usually play pretty football. Let's get the ball in the box. Just get the ball in the box. But the thing is, with a problem with that is, if they cross the ball in the box and the team heads it away and catches us on the break, we haven't got the legs. So you're going to get us every time. So Pep's thinking, keep the ball. But when you keep the ball, you might as well not play with Erling Haaland. You might as well not be there. Do you know what I mean? But we've got nobody. We've literally got nobody else. We've not got another striker in the club. So it's madness. It's madness.
Where do you physically think City will finish this season then? I mean, Pep talks about the title being out of reach in this moment in time, and he don't feel that they can win it this season, obviously due to all the injuries they've had and stuff like that, and he just don't think they've been good enough. But where do you realistically would be happy for Man City this season? Obviously the title would have been the main objective at the start of the season, probably every season at Manchester City, the Premier League title and that, but where do you see it going from now on until the end of the season?
I'll be honest with you. I think we've got a real fight to get in the top 4. I do. Yeah. I feel like this transfer window now is one of the most important in the history of the club the last 10 years because we've got to get it right. We can't afford to go and waste a few quid on bodies that ain't going to affect this team. The team's quality is down. So we need to add quality, not numbers, quality. And in January, you know that yourself, it's very rare any quality pops up unless there's been a fallout. Yeah. But this is why I think we've got to either activate release clauses or we've got to overpay because we've left ourselves short. But listen, if you offered me top 4 now, finish, season done, taking it, no problem.
Fantastic. Let's get on to Man City, the opposition. Let's see where you are in the Premier League. So 7th at the minute after 18 games. I believe you've won 8, lost 6, drawn 4.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. How difficult has it been? I mean, you had a decent start. I mean, where is it gone wrong from that point?
We was the only unbeaten team in the league after 9 or 10 games. But anyone that watches my channel will know that I was telling everyone that was fucking false because we were terrible. We were terrible, mate. Terrible. And people were saying, I'm on the Big Six show, and the Big Six show, the lads and that were going, yeah, but you're there again, and City's going to do this. But I just knew in my head that we were missing something. And it's just been a bad season. But, you know, I said this on the channel the other day. I said, on the Big Six, you've got the other teams, Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool there. And I said, look, let's be realistic. If I said to any of you on here now, your team will go and win 4 Premier League titles on the row, but you're going to have a season where you're not going to be there. Everyone's taking that, mate. Everyone's taking it.
Yeah.
And it's not like we're trusting somebody with a rebuild who is an amateur manager. Pep Guardiola's 1 in a million. People saying he's never been in this situation. He hasn't, but you've got to let him deal with it. You know what I mean? So January in the summer, he's got to freshen up the squad. It's an aging team. Some of them lads have been there 10 years. Yeah. City's got a lot of dough. You know what I mean? They've been saving it up. They haven't spent massive amounts of money like everybody else has done. No. Chelsea are 2 billion in now. Do you know what I mean? And City, this net spend when I was growing up watching City, City got whacked with it. Man City net spend, you joke. Now we're like bottom of the net spend or nearabouts. Nobody mentions it anymore. It's like, oh no. But I just say to City fans, relax, man. You know what I mean? Take it on the chin. It's going to be a rough ride this season, and we've got to get the checkbook out again, unfortunately.
That's the thing with football, though, isn't it, Steve? I mean, I'd know as a Leicester fan, you've got to take the rough with the smooth. And I think that's how you look at it as a football fan with every club.
Of course. I mean, you guys know. You went from winning the Premier League, and then a couple of seasons after, we got relegated. So, you know what it's like to feel like, I mean, I remember Leicester coming to City, and that season you won the league. And I thought everybody that season was so arrogant and dismissive of Leicester. It was literally like, wait till they come to our place next week. We'll show them. Wait till they come to our place. Listen, I was guilty of it myself. I remember thinking, they'll come to the Etihad and we'll smoke them. And then fucking hell, man. Riyad Mahrez fingered it in the. I was like, this might happen, you know. This might happen. And then I think everyone just thought, fucking hell, listen. I think everyone just went with it. I think everyone just wanted you to do it in the end. And like you say, it was brilliant for you guys. I mean, you must have been. It was unbelievable. And like you say, I remember watching it with my own eyes at the Etihad and thinking, fair play, man. Fair play.
I tell you what, that season, Manchester City was the best away game that season. To go there in the dinner time kickoff, and you're thinking, Robert Huth gets the early goal from the free kick, and you're thinking, could we actually beat Man City? And then we score again. Robert Huth scores again. And you're thinking, Robert Huth getting 2 goals, and actually maybe, and then Riyad Mahrez scores, and you're thinking, mate, we could actually go and actually do something. And you're 3-0 up, and you're thinking, nah, surely not. But then you start believing to yourself, what the fuck was going on here? And that, I think that was the same for you lot, thinking, Leicester's come here, and we're expecting to smoke them, and then the 3-0 up against us, and you're thinking, what's going on? I don't even think Pellegrini himself were thinking at that time, what's going on? And then obviously Aguero scored like he bloody always did against Leicester. But that result, I think, really spurred us on from that moment, thinking we could really go and compete here, and this could maybe happen.
No, you deserved it. Like I say, it was mad. And do you know what's interesting about it? Like, I was talking to an ex-player. I'm not going to name him, but I talked to an ex-player, and he was talking to me saying, look, this Premier League now, he said, these teams are set up, they're very, very soft. So I said, what do you mean? He said, well, back in our day, you had defensive midfielders. You had at least 2 hard men in the middle of the park that could mix it. Yeah. You had 2 big centre-backs. He said you had 2 full-backs that were proper full-backs that would go on the outside. And he said you had 2 wingers that didn't invert. They went on the outside. He said, then you get up front, you'd have two strikers. You'd play 4-4-2. And he said, I think that someone's going to come in the Premier League soon and set up a team like an old 90s style team with two big centre-backs, two DMs, outside wingers and two strikers. And he said, and I think there'll be a handful. And then when I actually sat and thought about it and looked at it, and I thought, fucking hell, man, that could happen. Because I think Leicester broke the mould a bit. You know, you look at the players they had, like you say, Hoof and that. People just looked at them guys as if they were past it. But they were no nonsense defenders that they didn't, you know what I mean? They wasn't fancy players. They wasn't coming out from the back and playing it out like a Johnny Stone sort of inverted midfielder. They were just like, do your job. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Riyad Mahrez, get the ball, go for it. You know what I mean? And like you say, Jamie Vardy and that pace, it was just, it was a bit of breath of fresh air, to be honest. But I think everyone just put it down to like, oh, that's a one-off. Whereas everyone now tries to copy Pep.
Yeah, you can't fluke a 38-game season, can you? As much as people want to sit and say that Leicester was a fluke season, you can't go and fluke a 38-game season. I remember Arsenal that season after they beat us. Vardy scored in that game. Simpson got sent off. And they scored that last-minute bloody winner with Danny Welbeck. And you're thinking, and then you got Arsenal fans after the game, we're coming for you, we're coming for you. And then Leicester still carry on. I think we responded against like Norwich and that, and we'd score these last-minute goals. We'd always have that never-die attitude in that season. And, you know, a squad that only cost £23 million to go on and do what it did. Some would call it the players who never got given the chance, like your Simpsons, your Drinkwaters, Kantes, Albrightons, Vardy, Mahrez, Wes Morgan, Robert Huth, Kasper Schmeichel. You know, there were players who teams never fancied to even give a game to. And they're thinking, you know what? And then teams start thinking after 2016, if Leicester can do it, why can't we? And like you said, it broke that mold last season to think the big six were winning it every year, weren't they? And, you know, and no one would expect little old Leicester to come in and do what they did. I think Chelsea won it the season after, didn't they, when obviously Kante went there. But it's just an incredible achievement in itself. A phenomenal season.
Mental. But it was good memories, like you say. And we've had some mad games against Leicester. Vincent Kompany as well with that goal when we was going for the lead. We just needed something. And like you say, Vinny just thought, you know what, I'm having it, and let it go. And then that was it. Then once you see them flying, you think to yourself, so it's on the cards now. It's on the cards.
That's the type of game where Leicester did very well against Man City defensively in that we caused you problems. And then Aguero's like, mate, don't shoot. Pass the ball. Vincent Kompany's hold on a minute, I'm going for this. And Schmeichel ain't keeping that out. What a strike. And just sitting there waiting and see that go top corner. That was a definition of actually winning the title. And I think, you know, you look at Iheanacho, I think it was not long after, he had a one-on-one with Edison, and he missed it. And I think he missed that on purpose because he didn't want to see Liverpool win that title.
Well, like I said, Kelechi's always was. I liked Kelechi Iheanacho for City. I really did. When he burst on the scene, I thought he was great. But I think what signalled the end for him was, I think when they signed Gabriel Jesus, I got a lot of people telling me that in training, Jesus was just something else. Made him look really poor. And then he ended up like coming to you guys. And I think he's at Seville now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's at Sevilla. I don't think he's really fancied there, though.
No.
Someone's on about Enzo Maresca. Someone was on about Sky Sports. I don't know if you were there for that. I think it was this. Was it the thing where they get all the fans together at the start of the season or so, and they'll ask them where they're going to finish? Ross is on about a Leicester fan said he would have preferred Steve Cooper over Enzo Maresca. But if you look at what Enzo did last season with that Leicester squad, he did his job in it. I know he's gone to Chelsea. He's doing great there. But what was your initial thoughts on Enzo?
I mean, when he was at our place, he was very highly rated. I think a lot of the staff liked him, and I think the young lads that we had in the academy, they all took to his style of football. He's a Pep man, you know, so he's been doing what Pep does, and he's, you know, his philosophy. He's been in and around Pep for a long time, so he's realised that, you know, that's the way forward. And at the end of the day, like you say, he's done a cracking job with you guys. I remember towards the end of last season, was he not struggling a touch? Was the results drop off a bit?
Yeah, he struggled, and then he kind of like kept the players in the changing room for an hour and a half after the game. And then the players obviously ended up having their own little meeting without him. And then from that meeting onwards, it looked like Enzo had hit a stumbling block. So the players caught, you know what, how do we get ourselves back to how we were playing before? And from that moment, they did. And then he obviously went on, and it was very close last year, wasn't it? The championship with Ipswich, what they did, and then Leeds were around there as well. And yeah, it was just mad.
I mean,
but Enzo, it was a surprise, though, to lose him in the summer.
Yeah, I mean, well, Chelsea, I mean, look at the money they've spent there, and look at the riches they've got and resources they've got. He's spent he hasn't spent, but they've spent near 2 billion. Yeah. This is another thing. If Manchester City was doing that, you know, we'd be getting ripped all over the press for doing it. But because Chelsea are doing it and not winning out, no one's really asked. They're selling the hotels back to themselves the other week, and the women's team, they sold back to a holding company. You know, loads of shit like that going on, but no one's bothered because Chelsea ain't winning. But as soon as they start winning, that'll be all come out in the limelight. But I think he's got that Chelsea job's got a lot of pressure to it. It's a very, very pressure job. But I feel like the young lads are buying into what he's saying. I think he's got to play in a certain system. Obviously knows Cole Palmer and people like that from City. So why not? I mean, I wish him well. I wish him all the best there. I don't think he's that kind of manager you can really hate on, to be honest.
He's a very honest bloke, though. He speaks his mind, does Enzo. He called out the board at Leicester about them not telling him certain things. They weren't happy about it. And he'd always be honest about everything. If he had to get it off his chest, he would. But that's the type of bloke you want in the sort of dressing room and in the dugout, and it's someone who's very open.
What's the crack with Ruud? Is people happy with Ruud, or... I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. I go over to PSV Eindhoven a lot. I've got some friends of mine that run their ultras group over there, so I'm over there a lot. And they said to me a long time ago that they got to the Champions League. They beat Ajax. I was out there. They beat Ajax, and they played well. And I said, you know, he's doing a good job, isn't he, Ruud? And he went, no, he's okay. He's a good coach. He said, but we want rid of him. I said, why? And he went, no, we want rid of him. We just want him, you know, he's not right. And I was like, Kinel, he's just got in the Champions League. He was like, no, we need to win the league, whatever. And they were saying to me, he's a great coach, but not a good manager. But at United, I think interim-wise, he gives everyone a boost. And he seems to be all right. Like you say, the Leicester fans seem to have took to him. But, I mean, he's got a job on, you know, with you guys this season. But... I don't know. What do you think?
Ruud, I mean, it was right to sack Steve Cooper. You know, it wasn't working. He wasn't fancied by the owner to even start off with, Steve, to be fair. Steve Cooper, I think we panicked in bringing him in. But then we spoke to Ruud in the summer. So I'm thinking to myself, why did you not bring him in then? If Graham Potter wasn't available and he never wanted the job, go for Van Nistelrooy if you're talking to him, innit? You know, and... Obviously, Cooper's the last resort, and it was never pushed on Van Nistelrooy. There were little talks there, but nothing ever come from it. And, you know, if Ruud had come in at the start of the season and been backed in the summer and got the players in he wanted, I think we'd be far better than what we are now. But to come in at December time and you're thinking, yeah, look at this squad. You know, what am I going to do with this squad? I've got to try a few things, see what works and see what doesn't, and like everyone does. And January is going to be massive for him to get his players in, because at the minute he's dealing with Enzo's squad / Steve Cooper's, isn't it? So he's going to kind of rebuild that in January and bring in the right players for the club and get us safety this season. So it's a difficult job. Obviously, he knew it was going to be difficult in December because you can't sign players, can you, at all? So, Ruud's loved at Leicester, but it's like I said with what Ant said, it's early days and you can see what he wants to do. Obviously, Jordan Ayew is not a starter, but Ruud does start him. But he is scoring, Jordan Ayew. But the thing is, sometimes, I don't know, it's the defences he can be critical on, which is very much bang on with Ruud. You know, he wants that defence to be very tight-knitted, a strong defence, you know, because your defence is your strong point for your attack, isn't it? You know, and This is his issue that he's got. Leicester are shipping goals like it's no one's business, and this defense is not Premier League standard in my opinion. So the thing is with his squad, we've got players who are underperforming, and they're not at that level where Ruud wants them to be. Do you get what I mean? So he's having to replace them players who can't get to that level for players who can. So I'm looking forward now to seeing if the board will back him in January to see what he can do with the squad. And I think he's a good coach. You know, he's got full experience. He's got Jamie Vardy there who obviously broke his record, who he's had very much banter with since he's come. And he's obviously loved to work with a guy like Jamie Vardy, who's very experienced in the dressing room. We've been at the club 12 and a half years now. So they're the sort of players that you need in that dressing room, and the Vardys, the Codys, the leaders in the team who are going to help these players push on rather than fall off a cliff type of thing. Yeah.
No, listen, it's early days for him. Like you say, he did a good job at United there. So why not? Yeah, why not? But
like it's the points production situation.
Yeah, that's not ideal. I think he's going to get a bit of grief though, Ruud, with his Man United connections on Sunday. I think the boys will be after him a bit.
Yeah, the points deduction thing, I think we spoke about it, didn't we, Steve, at the start of the season? Leicester escaping that. But you know what the Premier League's like. The EFL couldn't touch us, and then the Premier League started, and Leicester like, what are you going to do as well then? You know, you can't touch us. But Connor Cody and JJ are liabilities in the Championship, let alone the Prem. What we all thoughts on Callum Doyle last season? I think he's top. Do you know what? I think Callum Doyle was a decent player for us. Obviously, we got him from you lot in it. Enzo brought him in. The only thing what did Doyle's season last season was his injuries. The big injury what he got against Bristol City, I think it was at home. So that kind of hindered him at Leicester. And I think if he didn't get injured, he was a top fullback, which is proven.
He's good. He's good. I think, you look at the players, the young lads that City have let go. Cole Palmer, you know what I mean? Romeo Lavia, Taylor Howard. At the time, I don't think any City fan would have said, you know, other than Cole, we knew Cole was a good player, but he had Riyad Mahrez and Bernardo Silva in front of him and Foden. So you're thinking he's not going to get in. Now, obviously, if you had a magic wand, you look at Morgan Rogers, you look at Romeo Lavia, Taylor Howard Bellis, you look at Cole, you look at Pedro Porro, all these boys, they're all getting our side at the minute. So, but these guys didn't even make the bench. They were like behind the bench. You know, you've got your bench and then you've got the ones that aren't even on the bench but are in the match day sort of around. They were there. But we've raised a lot of money, and I feel like it's burning a hole in the pocket, and a few of the fans now are starting to say, come on, we've got to get it back up there. So I do expect signings in January and the summer.
Yeah, fair point. Let's get on to the game. Leicester versus Man City. Leicester in the relegation zone going into this, 18th. Man City sitting 7th, 1 win in 13. Some say it's the best time to play Manchester City, but then that's a cliche everyone uses, isn't it, when teams are not on the greatest of form. And we've seen it before with Everton and Wolves who have come to the King Power, and we think, yeah, maybe we can actually go and get 3 points in this game. But Manchester City, they've still got that quality in the squad, haven't they, when they need it the most. Obviously, it's not really been there as such in these last 13 games with the bad run that you have been on. But what is your thoughts on Leicester going into this, Steve, with obviously the likes of Jamie Vardy, who, you know, loves a goal against Manchester City when given the chance. But and what do you expect from Man City as well?
I literally have no idea what to expect, because at the minute, with that far off the team that we thought there was, no two performances are the same. There's no consistency. You know, we're looking very, very jaded and very poor. We're looking like I'll tell you what will happen now. Manchester City will get the ball, pass it around, and it'll look great. We'll literally do nothing with it. We'll pass it from left to right, all across the side of the box. Haaland won't touch it. We won't put a cross in the box. It'll just go all the way around. Then we'll make a mistake. You'll catch us on the counter attack. You'll probably score with your first attack, and then we're on the back foot. Then trying to chase the game. That is how it is at the minute, and it's wild to even think that and talk like that, but it is. And they are right that this is the time. If you want to play Manchester City, this is the time. But you've got to be brave. You can't have it in your head that, oh, this is Manchester City from old. They're going to kill us and shit yourself. If you go there and think, you know what, we can get at them, but we've got to be brave and have a go, then I think you can get some joy out of us. Because I do think at the minute the players are thinking as soon as anyone scores against them, then we're beat. And I can't even believe I'm talking like that after 4 league titles in a row. But I watch football with my eyes, and at the minute what I'm seeing is poor, and we need to get it together rapid. But if you can be brave against this Manchester City team, you won't get punished because we ain't hitting you on the counter attack. So yeah, I feel like it can be anything. It's just gonna be one of them things. But we need the points. We needed 6 points against Everton and Leicester, and we've already lost 2. We can't lose anymore.
Yeah, I don't think teams have to counter-attack Leicester for our defence to crumble, Steve, I'm afraid, mate. Sometimes are very easily beaten. I don't know if you watched the Wolves game with the mistakes that we made in that game leading up to goals. And this is the time where these players have really got to stand up. You know, we've got to inspire to get something out of this game going into the new year. Both sides will look to finish on a high going into the new year. So, yeah, both sides struggling at the minute. So it's one that both sides will want to get something out of the game. I think Man City will look more for the win. Leicester, I think a point would be big for us, but then being in the relegation zone, you'd want to take all 3. But Anne said it's the best time to play. We need to get into here, play the ball, make it scrappy and have a chance. This is the thing. I wouldn't say go too much in toe-to-toe with Manchester City because they've got the quality to pick you off, but like you say, brave is the main thing we've got to do. We've got to be solid in defence this game. We've got to take our chances when it matters. I mean, I think Vardy's the only player to get 2 hat-tricks against the Pep Guardiola side. So, yeah, he's going to be one who's got a very good record against the top 6 side. So, I think if he scores in this one, I think he goes over Aguero. I know Aguero's got a good record, hasn't he? I think he's just ahead by 1 Aguero with the top 6 sides in a minute. So if Vardy scores in this one, then he can just pass Sergio Aguero. So that's going to be interesting for him. But he just don't seem like he's getting any bloody older, does he, Steve Vardy? He's still bloody banging them in at the age of 38 in January.
No, he's a good player. He's been great, hasn't he, for you guys? I mean, he's probably might have lost a little bit of pace, but he's still sharp, you know what I mean? He's still dangerous. So fair play to him. You've got to give him credit, you know what I mean, for what he's done. And like you say, he loves scoring against Manchester City. So he's one we definitely got to watch out for.
James says, yeah, City will be bounced back because that's what champions do. What do you think to that type of comment, Steve?
I have said for a few weeks that I feel like somebody might get a bit of a hammering off us soon. You know, where we just have one of them games where everything clicks, but that just papering over the cracks. We know what we need. We've got to go out in January, first week of January, make them moves. Got to get people in, start hitting the ground running. We can't let the rot set in too deep because it takes years and years to get the fear factor in football and get that aura around a football team where people are frightened to death of playing. But you can lose that in a season, and at the minute we're losing it. You know, look at the games we're losing and the teams that are coming to the Etihad. Tottenham was on the worst run they've ever been. They've come to the Etihad and put 4 past us. Man United at the minute, they look absolutely awful. They beat us at the Etihad. So it's like, it's embarrassing at the minute, you know, where they are and the drop off. But the players have got to step up, man. If you're not good enough to play for this football club or you're not feeling it, then we got to get rid of them.
Yeah, I agree. I think Leicester's got to step up in this game, to be fair, and cause Man City problems, you know. It's a game we've got to believe we could get something out of with Manchester City being on this form. I mean, they're not going to be on this form forever. So teams have, like I say, got to take advantage while you've got it now. I mean, the games that you have, I mean, you know, you've took the lead and then teams have scored and you think Man City are then on the back foot then, aren't they? With teams thinking, yeah, Man City are wounded. You looked at Everton yesterday where they'd scored and then they're thinking to themselves, they sort of raised the game now, don't they, against Man City? Because Man City
Could have
look
won
very
it.
good at the back.
Last minute, 4-on-2. Could have won it. Better decision making, they win it. You seen Fulham yesterday go at Chelsea last minute and win it. This happens to City. We're 3-0 up against Feyenoord. No disrespect to Feyenoord. It's fucking Feyenoord. I've seen us going toe-to-toe with Real Madrid and bopping them off the park 4-0. Bayern Munich 3-1. Now we're 3-0 up against Feyenoord and we're letting them come back into it. And that's when you've got to realise that there's a problem there. You can't look at that old Man City and think, oh, they're going to win the league. I'm telling you now, as a Man City fan for over 35 years, he ain't winning the league. You know, miles off it. So, listen, no disrespect to Leicester. Can't disrespect any team in this league, because if you start strolling around like that, then that's when you do get bopped. So we're just going there. We're a wounded animal at the minute. We have got the quality, but it's not quite there. We've just got to do our job, get the 3 points and get out of there.
Yeah, we can't afford to underestimate you either and overlook you, let's be fair. Let's have a look at last time out at the KP. We got relegated that season with the squad that we got. Fully deserved in the end, to be honest. We just weren't good enough at all. And some would say the players down tall, but the last time we played you was a 1-0. Manchester City dominated that game on that afternoon, let's be fair to you. And I think we had one good chance, which Tielemans hit the crossbar in the second half. But Kevin De Bruyne scored the free kick.
Yep. Great goal, wasn't it? Yeah, off the underside of the bar, I think, or the post, won it and in. But yeah, we're totally different teams to that now. And like you say, you'll see with your own eyes. You'll look at the City team and you won't believe it, like how vulnerable they are, you know. And you talk about Leicester making mistakes. We're making some horrendous ones, like you say. And if you've got any pace about you in the team, that's the teams that seem to be doing well are the ones with a bit of pace. You know, United were terrible, but they had Amad Diallo there, and he just kept going and going and going all game, and then got his joy. If you've got a Jamie Vardy that's just going to be a pest, keep running in behind and dragging people all over the place, then for me, you know, he's definitely going to get chances 100%. So yeah, it's a mad one.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I kind of worry about is this season, Steve. You know, with the lack of attacks at times, and you know, you're defending more than you should be, and we're a type of side who's had more shots at our goal than we've had at the opponent's goal, and it's worrying to be. You know what? When are we actually going to score in these games? And this is the type of game where we've got to use our attack to our advantage. You know, we've got Mavididi who's got pace. I just think that team needs a lot more belief that they can get at these fullbacks and causing problems. We've seen the one yesterday with Mavididi against Trent Alexander-Arnold. He sort of looks at him, stands him up, and then goes straight past him. And that's what we want to see from these wingers at Leicester. And he feeds Jordan Ayew, and Ayew scores. So that's more that we want to see on Sunday, a team with a bit more belief and where, you know what, we are up to the standard of the Premier League and we're not going to give up the fight. And we've got to really have that grit in between our teeth on Sunday if we are to get anything out of the game. Last five. I mean, you lot have got 4. We've got 1. What's been your most memorable at the KP? When you talk Leicester, Man City, I mean, what's been your most favourite away day at Leicester?
I think we went there in the cup one year. I can't remember when it was when we went there. We went in the cup there, but one of our old players had died, Neil Young, and we all had black and red scarves because of the when we beat Leicester in the cup final them years ago. So that was I remember being a good away day. I can't remember what score it was, but it might have been. But I remember we enjoyed that. Fernandinho might have scored that game, but and like you say, that Kevin De Bruyne one was a decent one. I always find it tough there, to be honest. I always find it a tough little place to go. It's like it's never been easy. I remember Filbert Street, Paolo 1 chop 1-0 back heel. So we had some good times there, but yeah, I think it was the cup game. Can you get it up? What score that was? That cup game?
I think it was. Hold on. Was that the one where Serge and bloody, what do you call it? Was it the FA Cup game? I'm trying to think. Let me have a look. Let me see if I can share my screen. Hold on.
I just remember us all having them scarves and...
Was it this game?
So...
2-2.
2-2, yeah. I thought that was a great game. I might have been a bit pissed that game. I remember swinging the daft scarf around me head all the game, though.
Yeah, James Milner played with you and Carlos Tevez. I think Sol Bamba scored in bloody seconds of his debut.
Sol Bamba, God rest his soul.
And then Andy King scored after Joe Hart spilled a cross in the 64th minute. And then I think we went back to the Etihad and ended up getting a good hiding.
Yeah, I remember it. I remember we was on a bit of a run. And there was that one there when we played, when they were singing Pep's name. I can't remember the score of that one either at Leicester. Yeah, when they were singing Guardiola like mad. Do you know me, right? I was in a pub the other day and my mate said to me, we were doing a quiz thing. Anything like 90s, early 2000s. I can tell you anything. You asked me who scored for City 3 weeks ago when I was at the match. I can't remember. I don't know whether that's an age thing or what.
I remember that one where they had the moment with Guardiola at the end. Yeah,
because he was singing the song, We've Got Guardiola, and the fans were all giving it in there, yeah. So that was a good one as well.
I think you beat us that game, didn't you? You beat us quite comfortably.
Yeah. It's and then we had bad memories. We lost the Charity Shield there at your place against Liverpool, Haaland's debut. Yeah. That's when Nunes scored and everyone thought Nunes was going to be the Golden Boot winner, and then Haaland just took over then when the season started.
I think Leicester's best game, one of them against Man City at home, was the Vardy hat-trick one. Who did you have at the back then? I think it was Stones. Did Kolarov score in that game? Did Kolarov score a free kick, were it?
I think he did score.
He had a right left foot on him, he did, Kolarov.
Oh, great. Yeah, he scored some good goals. But, yeah, like you say, I really don't. I can't even come into the fixture with a bit of chest because at the minute, we don't deserve it. We just don't. We look so off it. So it's probably not an ideal game. People say, oh, you've got Leicester coming up. Everton, Leicester, West Ham, Salford in the cup. That could just be a nightmare. For us, no disrespect, could be a nightmare. You know what I mean? So we already thought we'd beat Everton. We've dropped 2 points. And then now we're coming to Leicester, who are struggling. Ruud's obviously ex-Man United. They're going to sense anyone who's done their own work on Man City from your lot are going to have been doing videos this week saying, look, we've got to be brave, cut out the mistakes. We're going to get chances. And, it sounds like City going to be the same. We're going to get chances. So it could be anything, this, mate. Could be anything.
I agree. Starting 11, Steve. I know you mentioned you had 9 injuries, I think you said, including illness, I think it is. But how does City line up with this one? Is it Ortega or do you think Ederson goes in for this game?
I think it'll be Ortega at the minute. Yeah, it'll be Ortega. I feel like it's going to probably be... it's going to be Rico Lewis at left back. Maybe Gvardiol and Ake centre half, because I think we're struggling with injuries there. I would play a Kanji at right back, me.
Yeah.
But it could be any. It could be Rico at right back. It could be a Kanji and Ake in the middle. But I would play a Kanji at right back. Then midfield, I'd probably go with Kovacic, Bernardo, and Foden. And then it's going to be Haaland up front. It's probably going to be Doku, Savinho, just for that pace. De Bruyne's not fit. Grealish is not fit. Kyle Walker's not fit. We're just patching it up at the minute. But it's Pep. He might have something mad in his head. He might go with Bernardo on the right, Foden on the right. He might go with De Bruyne. Might start. He might be fit. I literally don't know. Literally do not know.
I'm surprised by De Bruyne, to be fair. I'm thinking to myself, why is he on the bench and they're bringing him on? I'm thinking, surely he'd start your best players, but if he's not fit. Is it true that he could be going to the MLS at the end of the season, Steve?
Yeah, his contract's up. So I don't think they'll offer him a new one.
Mm.
I feel like he's time to go. Nathan Ake went off injured the other day. Well, yesterday. So we had a young lad called Simpson Pusey who came on near the end.
Mm.
And it's literally, you look at the bench, you got a lot of kids on there. McAtee doesn't play. Nico O'Reilly doesn't play. So Jacob Wright doesn't play. So it's a bit weird for the Champions 4 in a row team to have that weak of a bench as well. It's not normal.
Yeah, I think we'll go with Stolarsic in goal. Hermanson won't be fit for this. I think it'll be too soon for him. Justin, Cody, Vestergaard and Christensen. As much as I'd put, I'd probably change the defence, to be fair, centre-back partnership. Go where Coley maybe to get that pace to try and keep up with Haaland. Midfield 2 of Winks and Samari. I'm hoping he goes with Buonanotte, El Canous and Mavadidi to bring that attack to Manchester City. I know he's been fancying Ayew over the last couple of games. So I think Ayew's better is down the middle than he is on the wing. You know, he can cause more down the middle. He can bring the defenders out. And maybe that's what we missed yesterday against Liverpool, where he could have played Ayew up front and then instead of bring Daka on second half. But I don't know. It's Vardy will be back. Vardy's fit, so that'd be an interesting one. So that'd be interesting to see how he does against your defence, Vardy. They'll obviously look to keep Vardy out, won't they, on Sunday? So it's going to be interesting if Vardy can keep adding to them Premier League goals, because he's not far now behind Michael Owen. So he'll obviously fancy it this season with that. Score prediction, Steve.
Been saying it for the last few weeks. 1-0. Just 1-0. I think City will win 1-0. Haaland. That'll be it. I'm happy with that. Take the points. Back on the coach. Get off.
Interesting. Do you know what? I'll go for us to narrowly beat you 2-1.
Back it, man. There'll be big odds.
Back it. Because this season's been one of them where we can't. With Leicester, it's hard to predict us in games, and we're easily bloody beaten at times. And hopefully, this game we can just stay strong and ride the storm and just go for it and prove that we are a better side than we have been playing. So yeah, I'm going to go 2-1. It'll probably end up a 2-2 draw or something like that, or Manchester City probably batter us or something. You know, I know what we're like. We like to roll over and get our bellies tickled. So hopefully that's not the case. But Steve, thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate it as always. It's good to chat with you again. Let everybody know where they can find you, Steve, before I let you go, fella.
Yeah, just at Big Steve MCFC, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube are the three I use. Not on that Twitter. Can't be dealing with that place. Other than that, yeah, find me there if you want to come over and listen to our miserable sound of defeat this last few weeks. Come over.
Appreciate it. Cheers, Steve. All the
nice
best.
One, mate. All the best. Good luck. See you later, pal.
Cheers, buddy. That was Big Steve. Yeah, and a real diehard Manchester City fan, a real great bloke, and a real legend. Good mate of mine, Big Steve. Great chat with him always. I think Ayew plays better off the bench, gets lazy the longer the game goes. Yeah, this is it. I'd start Buonanotte. I really would. I'd really go and get at that Manchester City team at the weekend. It could be the best time to play him, and I say could, because I know what we're bloody like at times when we play teams like this, so we're not on the greatest of form. So hopefully we can get a result at the weekend and really kick on going into 2025. Obviously, Villa's after Manchester City, so another tough game for Leicester. But can we finish 2025 off on a high? Is the big question. I'm going to say 2-1 City. Let's hope for an entertaining game. I hope it's an entertaining game as well, to be fair. But hopefully it's a more entertaining game and we can get something out of the game. So, yeah, let's see what happens. January is going to be massive for Leicester as well regarding signings and that. So we've got to go and do something in January if we are to stay up in the Premier League. Yeah, let's see what happens. Have a great New Year, everyone. Spending it with your loved ones and that. So yeah, Happy New Year from us all here at the Final Whistle. And there'll be a match day vlog coming out on Sunday for the Manchester City game. And then we'll do all the build-up for the Aston Villa game as we take on them next. But if you've enjoyed this stream, hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you haven't subscribed. Please do so. That help me out massively. Go and check out the match day vlog for Liverpool, which is now on the channel. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of the evening, whatever you're up to. And come on, the Foxes. Hi all, thank you for watching The Final Whistle. If you enjoy all our content, please remember to smash a like, share and subscribe to the channel.